Thank you so much for being part of International Permaculture Day with this live-ish streaming that we're doing.
Yeah, I do. I do.
And so you're talking to us from India. Whereabouts?
Pardon?
Whereabouts are you in India?
I'm right now in Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Narsanna
My
Koppula in
my
Hyderabad.
yeah.
And can you tell us what you're doing there in growing locally? What are you growing?
Oh, where should I start? Because it's a long history of permaculture. Where I should start, I am not very clear, but I try my best to put in a nutshell.
Yes.
Yeah. The movement since ever since I have been involved with permaculture movement since 1985. So it was the very interesting year to come across people like Bill Mollison and David Hologram and Robin Francis.
Uh-huh.
So in India, my guru is my teacher. Indian teacher is my Dr. Venkat. I met in 1985. Then I'm not very clear what's the permaculture means at all.
Uh-huh.
So now and then I used to hear from different people about permaculture, but the moment I heard about Bill Mollison and David Holgram, Robin Francis, I have joined with Dr. Venkat working with the permaculture activity since 1987.
Mm-hmm.
But before that I heard, but I am not very clear what to do. But I taken decision to work with permaculture since it is a very ethical, and since I have a left background,
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit very pro people, pro nature, and pro environment.
Uh-huh.
So that is how I correlated with my ideology. Then I want to join with Dr. Venkat, who was working with the small and marginal farmers on small holdings, those who do not have proper resources, and such areas very hard to work even. So then I joined Dr. Venkat. I started my career with permaculture work. So in that context, I was a little bit not very clear how this movement to be taken to the more people and masses, those who do not have getting proper food. Maybe proper food in sense is a not nutritious food. So that is our main aim, to start with a kitchen garden, growing kitchen garden in their small area of backyards, where they could able to grow some food as your greens and vegetables and some creepers as well. And that is the food they get. Not even they won't eat much greens at a household level, but they had some problems with growing even vegetables in their backyards. At that time, our permaculture has become really is a challenging to work in such areas where the small holdings and small areas. And that is how our movement started with the working with the small and marginal farmers. But if you'll come to the permaculture as a concept, with whom we are working at that time, most of them are women. So working with the women is little bit not that easy in agriculture sector, but starting with vegetables and growing at their backyards with the working with women, and they're very eco-friendly techniques they have. They caring earth and already caring people, at the same time caring the resources. That aspect, we were very much lucky people to work with women in Indian context. That is the area where we were working with Venkat and myself. We used to go in the morning with a basket full of vegetables and some crowbar and spade and your pickaxe and what are the tools of agriculture implements as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how we started our career. But still, we have missing something which, in Indian context, is not a country. I think it is a big continent. And how best we can reach the people really to work with, and they should get able to get the sufficient, not only sufficient food, and they have to get nutritious. Our target group was women and the children, because they are the victims of this society and the environment and ecology. And always, if anything happens in the name of development, I think these women and children are victims of entire our total so-called development. I think that is the major concern of both of us. They should not be they should not get victims, and they should not get suffered with this whatever technology we are talking about today. And that is how we started our not only growing some vegetables, also we have to slowly we shifted our focus onto the small holdings which they had, very small holdings, how they can grow their even small holdings also. They could get able to some cereals and pulses and oil seeds with integration of some animals and integration of some trees. That is how the total permaculture concept itself we have translated. We have we translated into the really applied permaculture onto the small fields, and that is how we were getting little bit sense of permaculture and working on the farmers fields, particularly small and marginal farmers. In our essence, in our context, the farmers means the women farmers, and basically we were working with the women, but they are the managers of your seeds. They are managers of resources. Since they are managers of resources, why should not work with the women? Because they are the better guiding teachers to take into the caring the land and caring the resources. I think that is easier for us easy to work with women. They can take that direction very transparently and very faster, and they can reach many people because their message is always stronger than what others they do. And that is how we started our career, and now I think we developed such a marvelous piece of lands and converted into permaculture principles, and we have done very good job with the help of everything is possible through the women only, because it's not our greatness, and that is possible. They made it possible to reach many people and masses of the community, those who are suffering from various resources they do not have. So in that context, I think in permaculture, that is one of the lesson we learned from the work which we have done. I think our main objective of the work is, I think, whatever the resources they have lost, and actually we have to make them access to the resources, not depriving the resources. That is what we learned from the women, what we learned from them while we are working with them. And that is how this is a great opportunity to work with the poor and poor marginal farmers, at the same time poor soils also. This is how we correlate with the poor soils belongs to the poor people. If your permaculture is sufficient enough, strong enough ideology to work with natural resources, I think if you reclaim those soils, since they are poor, you have to make it challenge to reclaim those soils, and you make them as a productive. I think that is a challenging job of our permaculture people. That is how we are going ahead with the working with women, at the same time, and tribals and small and marginal farmers and those who do not have minimum resources, and how you create your resources at the small level, and they make it sufficient food at the 3-time meal they should able to get with growing their own food, their vegetables, and they're to able to get firewood, and they're able to get their fodder for cattle, and their millets, and their cereals and pulses and oil seeds. And this is the basic needs of, even they do not have house, I don't mind, but as a basic needs as a food is very important, because most of them are forest dwellers, and even plain people are also there with whom I am working right now. They are not least bothered about the shelter, but even the tree, as they think as a tree is at their house. Since you have a very innovative, you can use the tree as many ways, but the food you have to look at various aspects, and that is how we have working with the communities right now. I think I have a great opportunity. The people, those who have given a lot of knowledge, and whatever the knowledge today we acquired, it is not possible for us to without working with the communities, which most of them are ethnic groups. They have a lot of seeds, and how we taken care about these land races, how to protect them. They know much, they know many things, but still they are not very organized. This is how our intervention start with the permaculture activity. You intervene where they are missing some components. I think that is what we are doing. We are not doing much great thing, but we have We are searching, we are giving some alternatives to them, and we are intervening where our inputs are required. Not really, our needs, our interventions are not required. I think that is they are great thing. They have a great achievement. They have did it. I think that's what I can tell about them.
Wow. I have goose pimples all over me. It sounds like you're growing empowerment and liberation.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what you're
yeah,
busy growing. Big time, looks like.
yeah. Yes,
Wow.
Stella, it's the empowerment always. I consider it in a different context. The empowerment, not just talking about the rights and they are the managers of all resources. The empowerment, if you take an Indian context, I think whatever the permaculture, ecological culture, ecology, and your natural farming or whatever the sustainable farming, the jargon and the terminology might be different, but I think every human race, every human they required a minimum even a 10 square yards of soil to grow something. If that is not there, I think we are missing entirely the permanent asset of soil and land.
Yeah.
That is that not only just permaculture is growing something. I think you have to talk about the environment, and you are talking about the empowerment of people.
Yeah.
You have to make them access to the land. If
Yeah.
the land is there, you can talk 100 ideologies, 100
Yeah.
theories. If
Yeah.
unless it is not there, I think we are doing some mistake to the our farming systems.
Yeah.
I think that is we are fighting for the getting land from the government in a very amicable situation with the farmers and the ruling governments and the communities and all officials and authorities with we have very maintaining very good friendly relationship, and we are acquiring some knowledge for the people, and whatever the resources they have, what they are doing with and what they are going to do it also very very important. Also what we are trying to do is not we are not much craving for the what they have lost, and what the existing are important.
Mm.
What they have lost, let them. But what they are existing, how better they can do it, how better they can conserve them and protect them and preserve them. That is a very, very challenging job of every individual, those who are looking for the better future for our future generation.
Mm. Wow. And it's like, it sounds like you're doing exactly what, a primary permaculture principle, which is unblock the system or design the system so that it self-regulates as quickly as possible. And that's
Yeah,
empowerment as well. So it's like figuring out what structures need to move, like whether it's legal stuff or whether it's giving the resources to the right people, giving knowledge, a particular knowledge. And it sounds like that's exactly, and so 86, was that 20 years, more than 20 years you've been working on this.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
is amazing. And
Yeah.
what do you most love about what if you had to say one thing that just gets you really excited and that you're looking forward to after all this path that you've been at, what would it be?
Can you put it can you put it once again? What you are asking?
What do
I
you
didn't
most
follow
look
you.
forward to?
Pardon?
What do you most look forward to, like tomorrow, in the next
Yeah,
months, in the next year, that you're excited about?
I that way I do not have much aspirations as such, but what with whom I am working, the very small community where I am working with like 1,000 families. They 1,000 families. I'm not can't change overnight anything. It's a long pathway, and whatever the fortunately, unfortunately, whatever the path we have taken, it is not that easy like other sectors. Agriculture is a very very is a lot of is a intricacy with a lot of so many things. Is not only just agriculture we are talking as such. We are talking about their people have food habits and culture and concerns and social aspects and lot of even religion. Sometimes we have to respect all their cultures what they have. Along with that, their hopes and their aspirations we have to work with. I think it's a very very great achievement, but it's not that easy what we think.
Mm.
But I am not much hoping. But whatever the work I am doing with the small families and cultural people, ethnic group, I think they should get some. They should get some good food. But how much food they are got not important. The whatever the food they are getting, it should be very nutritious, and the women and the particular the children should be get their good health and not only the health, also their way of thinking should be different from what others think than conventional agriculture they are thinking. I think they are the people they should take forward to the many masses, many group, many individuals around the where I am working, and already that is happening, but still they need strong movement within the community, but not outsiders. I think that is, I believe, I think everybody should take as a social responsibility. It's not a individual responsibility. Is agriculture is a social responsibility. I think that's how we have to feel a little bit great. Whatever the path we have taken, I proud of be part of the permaculture group, and as I've been an agriculturer, and I am working with the community, those who are the main principal teachers and their guides, and I think they're everything for me.
How can the international permaculture community best help your efforts? I wrote it in Skype as well. How can we help you?
Stella, everything is very great inspiration, because inspiring me every since last 5 international conferences I've been attending. Every time is a new, because is where I have attended in Australia, and even I attended it in Brazil, if you it's Latin America. But last year Jordan, that is a very challenging area to work. Is a good. We have to be very sensitive to those areas. Arid is like the desert. It's a desert in Jordan. I think that is then I worked in a arid sense, a semi-arid, but not as an arid like deserts. I think by seeing that IPC 10, I think I myself is a motivated lot. There are people suffering from not only just is a vegetation part, and water and air and the heat, temperatures, so many problems. In such areas, how you get better ways of your permaculture principles, how it correlate, how better you can work with them is also challenging. But every international permaculture conference, I have a good network among the people, those who are working in corners of the world. I think I have to give a suggestion. You always better work with the community, where not individual level. I think we have a communities, those who are looking for us to learn many things, not only the just working with the individuals, not our own farms, not our own houses. Also, you have to work with community. That is my great message. I want to always, I request people to, those who are working since last so many years, I think they should reach communities. And there are people, those who are looking for some alternative. In that context, the permaculture is one of the alternative. I think we have work for them, not for ourselves. At the same time, we have worked always we have worked ourselves. But this is the age, this is the time to work for others. The community you have to organize, you have to work with them, and you have to work hard. I think you have to reach as many as people as possible around the world. And that is my message from the Permaculture Network and Permaculture International Permaculture Groups. I think please, once again, I request all of you, you work with communities. I think they will guide you, and you will grow, and local grow.
Oh, thank you. And you have loads to teach us about how to work with communities. I look forward to hearing a lot more from you. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
This has come up again and again, actually, in our interviews. The community, growing communities.
Sure.
It's very important.
Sure.
Thank you so much for giving such a brilliant example and saying it so beautifully. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stella. I should say thank you to you. Why you should?
Thank you for taking part in International Permaculture Day 2013. And
I introduced my wife. She's actually
yes,
she's
my
mobile.
Hi. How are you?
Great. So, are you involved in all this work as well?
Yes.
And
so we developed one demonstrated farm in from Hyderabad, 100 kilometers away. So that is 5 hectares. So many farmers will come there, they learn from there, and it has been upscaled to 1,000 farmers. So that is the models we created, and extending some designs to the other farmers, co-farmers. This is the community we are working, and we are providing some designing help and technical help to the other permaculture practitioners.
Have you got children involved in this as well? Have you got children that are working in this, or other families?
Actually, So since Narsanna and Dr. Venkat, both of them, they are my colleagues. We are working together in the same organization. But as such, like Narsanna has done the diploma in permaculture and other things. I have not done the diploma in permaculture, but I worked with Dr. Venkat, and I used to take care of the preschool schools. There we have given the self-sufficiency to buy the land and grow their own food to feed the children.
Wow.
So that's why myself and Dr. Venkat worked together, and we provided that food to the children. That is the safe food. Similarly, working with the women's organizations, those who are not having land, they will take a land on lease basis, and then they grow their own foods, and they will have a food grains in their home. Then they feel very secure.
Yes.
So that is when they have food grains their home, especially in the poor community. So they feel so happy and they feel comfortable. They feel secure. That is the first step we did. Those who do not have lands, and then third one is the domestic homestead gardens, especially in the 5 varieties like vitamin C, vitamin A, like papaya and lime and curry leaves and other things. So that 5 plants, each of the family have given, I think 60 to 70% of the families, they have taken care of the 3 to 5 plants. Some extent, at least 2 to 3 vitamins we have provided through that plantation.
Wow.
So, and the similar way, I am working with Narsanna. Not such, because wherever we work, we collectively we work together. So that is the thing.
Sounds like you're an amazing team.
Yes.
Thank you ever so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's very touching and very inspiring what you're doing. Thank you for doing this wonderful work.
Okay,
you're
welcome
it with us.
And especially to my place.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Permaculture movement since 1985. So it was the very interesting year to come across people like Bill Mollison and David Hologram and Robin Francis. So in India, my guru is my teacher. Indian teacher is my Dr. Venkat. I met in 1985. Then I'm not very clear what's the permaculture means at all. So I have a left background. I have a little bit very pro people, pro nature, and pro environment. So that is how I correlated with my ideology. Then I want to join with Dr. Venkat, who was working with the small and marginal farmers on small holdings, those who do not have proper resources, and such areas very hard to work even. So then I joined that.
Thank you so much for being part of International Permaculture Day with this live-ish streaming that we're doing.
Yeah, I do.
And so you're talking to us from India. Whereabouts?
Pardon?
Whereabouts are you in India?
I'm right now in Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Narsanna Koppula in Hyderabad.
Yeah. So now and then I used to hear from different people about permaculture, but the moment I heard about Bill Mollison and David Holgram, Robin Francis, I have joined with Dr. Venkat working with the permaculture activity since 1987. But before that I heard, but I am not very clear what to do. But I taken decision to work with permaculture since it is a very ethical and since.
And can you tell us what you're doing there in growing locally? What are you growing?
Oh, where should I start? Because it's a long history of permaculture. Where I should start, I'm not very clear, but I try my best to put in a nutshell.
Yes.
Yeah. The movement ever since I have been involved with